We are now hourly, daily exposed to extreme developments in the whole world. The things that are coming out now in the news, in the mainstream, in terms of what is happening, are absolutely mind-boggling to the unaware, to the unawakened, the uninitiated. But we're going to deconstruct this a little bit today and tell you what to look out for, what we encourage you to look out for, and what we're actually observing. And I want to start with something that's just come out, absolutely mind-boggling, but now we're hearing from the mainstream scientists that humanity should really look into cannibalism because apparently we can stop climate change by eating each other. It's a perfect, wonderful solution. And that's a solution to tackling climate change is to eat human flesh from dead bodies. Yes, Mr. Scientist, that's how that would work. A Swedish scientist has claimed. Professor Magnus Soderlund, apparently he's got an appetite for very exotic things, said of the Stockholm School of Economics, believes practicing cannibalism might save the planet if society were to awaken to the idea. Well, Mr. Economics Specialist, perhaps you should stick to your guns here. I don't think this is a very good idea, but speaking on Swedish television, he suggested dead bodies would be more sustainable than the meat and dairy industry, or even eating insects, if food sources become scarce in the future. Basically, what was he saying? Kill your neighbor and go eat him if you run out of food? Can you even imagine what kind of morons and complete degenerates there are now on TV? It's absolutely mind-boggling. He also claimed that conversation about taboos of cannibalism can change over time and that people can be tricked into making the right decisions, the Epoch Times reports. You know what? This is where this goes. I mean, that somebody like this even gets time on TV, on national television, needs to tell you something. This is planned. This is orchestrated. This is to absolutely demoralize and shock the population in their trauma-based programming, to constantly instill fear, to constantly instill worry, to constantly instill trauma. We got to look at these things a little differently, and I encourage you to stick around because we have a few more news to cover, and then we're going into how we really need to look at this, because this is a game changer once you realize this. So we also have something very important that's happening. Is the heat wave all around the northern hemisphere. We currently have an extreme heat wave, North America, Europe. It's absolutely crazy, and fires and just insane temperatures everywhere. And of course, climate change, it's all about that. But who's greatly benefiting from this? Look into the Bill Gateses of the world. Look into the people that are wanting to create a mass food shortage in these people, and look into what they're buying up and how they're acting and how it benefits them. This is an absolutely orchestrated event, and what I'm saying here is, yes, I absolutely believe this is weather control at the highest level, and people have been talking about HAARP with regards to weather control for a very long time, but it's been recently brought to my attention that actually we should really look into the Doppler radars as the source of weather manipulation, weather control, or actually weather production. People that have studied this field in depth, and I'm just quoting them here, are saying that for much longer than we thought, weather hasn't just been manipulated, it's been completely fabricated and created. So not just inserting things into a weather pattern, but actually creating whole weather patterns according to what they need. Now, I wouldn't put it past them at all whatsoever. So I just encourage you to look into that. I do believe that our inner technology has far greater powers. If we came to realize that, then we could actually reharmonize the weather no matter what the technology, but that's just my view. And when we go into who is doing this, and that's how we're slowly getting to how we need to look at this, we're also looking at some extreme psychosociopaths, some entities that I have come to the conclusion, and I firmly believe they don't have a human spirit. These evil psychopaths, absolute maniacs, do not have a human spirit. They don't have a soul. So I believe the way we look at healing, the way we look at forgiveness and love amongst each other, the way we look at beings with consciousness, that we are so many on this earth, and how we heal with each other and how we forgive each other is different than how we need to treat these evil psychopaths. I do believe that. I'm not suggesting any rash action. I'm just saying that a justice system has been created over millennia by humanity. Every group has it. Every society, every clan, every country has a justice system, albeit corrupted in most places now, but still it's in place and it can be cleaned up. And then I believe there needs to be due process and a quick and final solution when it comes to this. That's just, we just need to make sure that our beautiful earth can once again shine, and it won't happen until we remove all the evil. So that all being said, what are we witnessing here? Because the craziness, I just pull out a few things that are really crazy, like cannibalism and weather control, but we're seeing presidents and governments stepping down on the daily now. We're also seeing scandals over scandals. We're seeing the more blatant, so the Biden apocalypse. So they're basically nuking Biden out of supposed office of the residency, right? And they're doing it by showing more erratic behavior, by showing more fakeness in all of this. And the effect that it should have on you is absolute confusion, panic, and fear, because there's nothing you can count on anymore. And actually, in many ways, this is a good thing. We told our children, we've been telling them for about a year and a half now, that they need to prepare for madness in the world. More and more people are going crazy and mad, and there's a specific reason for that. Up until the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, the powers that were and want to be had an order of controlled chaos, right? We would constantly see events, but it was an orderly kind of chaos that kind of the pendulum would always swing back into a more or less orderly way. Not normal, not healthy, but it was still something people could count on. The processes of daily lives, the way countries conducted themselves, the way government, all of that was fairly normal. Not good, but normal. Since 2020, we have seen an acceleration of the apparently uncontrolled chaos, where all the things are completely fallen out of balance. Some things seem uncontrollably, some things a little slower, but the truth is it's all by control, and it's all by design. So let's say over your lived memory, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, doesn't matter, whatever your lifespan is, you've had a picture presented to you about the world, about governments, about political leaders, religious leaders, about stars, about the good guys and the bad guys. And the truth is, the vast majority of the good guys are actually really bad guys, right? And a lot of the bad guys are actually quite good guys. Most of it has been completely inverted. But if you knew what's happening behind the scenes and how some of these pretend good leaders in entertainment, religion, and politics, what they really do, and how incomprehensibly evil they are, I mean, it would just shock you to the core. But what they're doing now is they're exposing this as if it is by accident, and these people are now being exposed. No, they were put there in place. They were put in place. So the people you looked up to for 30 years or trusted for 30 years turn out to be complete fakes and frauds and evil. There's a design behind this. It is to completely demoralize you and to erode any trust you might have in the structures, which in turn is a blessing in disguise, because we can finally go to taking responsibility, realizing we've been played, we've been duped, and beginning taking full inspired action in creating new structures, in infusing ourselves and our light into the current structures, in the healing process, and actually taking this place over with our true human power. This is it. We're seeing the downfall. It's orchestrated, but these evil minions that are doing this actually did not and cannot count on the human spirit because they don't have it. So our power begins by truly seeking truth, seeing things for what they are. Stop pretending to ourselves that we believe the game that's being played, so we can honestly get to work. This is the name of the game right now. So I encourage you, look through the game. Don't play the smoke and mirrors game any longer. Be courageous enough to look at the truth and then apply your true human spirit to the situation.